Have you ever had that feeling that somehow you are not enough, that you don't measure up, that you can't do that thing that's in front of you that you want to do, or that you can't compete with someone else that you see as doing something so great and you want to be that person, but then you feel that you are not enough somehow? You're supposed to, because you haven't done that thing that's in front of you. And if you keep carrying around the idea, the belief that you are not enough, then you will always be there. And sometimes that comes from places that we don't really understand. I was having a call with my brothers last night because I always love to talk about these things. And when you go back to your family, because that's usually where your programming gets implanted within you, where you continually think that somehow you're not enough, simply because you're probably different. Well, you're supposed to be different and you're supposed to be unique and you're supposed to come into the world and bring something new. But when you can't embrace that, then you feel that you are not enough. I can say this because I've done it. I put out something the other day where I said, gee, I could have been a billionaire and transformed the world. But because it was new, what I had created and how I went about it, that was challenging. So I would always feel that I'm probably not enough. Even though I'm seeing different results, my programming still said because this is different and it's coming through me, it couldn't possibly be that I did this. It couldn't possibly be that I am enough. And that's what you've done too. We all do. Every human comes into the world with a mission, something they're meant to do. But to get there, you have to move through all the barriers, and that's programming that's been within you. And I know this because that's what I've moved through. Several years ago, I did something, and many of you might know this, but I sold my business. I sold my really great business, which was giving me a lot of money. And I did it intentionally because I said I needed to not have any money for a while because I know that that's not what's going to make my life valuable. That's not what's going to cause me to leave a legacy to this world. You hear the phrase all the time, you can't take it with you. Well, that's true. So I had that meeting with my family, and I'm telling them, listen, I have had all of this stuff forever, and I couldn't own it because I had been programmed out of believing that I was enough. And I kept thinking it for years and years. So it's hard to change that. And then I said, let me stop now, and I'm going to go to bed. And I turned on the TV and I started watching this show called Owning Manhattan. Don't know why. Just started watching it. And it's about in New York selling, all this big real estate, and they had all this money and the competition that was there and the energies that were going on. And go, is that what life is supposed to be? Was I supposed to do that? And then I just felt terrible. I go, wait a minute, I didn't make all that money. Does that mean that I'm not enough? But then I'm looking at what I just did yesterday, saying I have the most valuable thing because what it does is it causes you to own who you are and come to know that you are enough. But I still had to move through that barrier, and that barrier is in your thinking. It's within all of us. It has to be. How can we come into the world and know who we're going to be? And so then I get up this morning and I go back to doing my meditation. I'm going to write my message, and I'm led back to a message that was given years ago. I said, oh, now I understand. That's what we all do. We come to understand and accept who we are as we move through our evolutionary journey. And it's different for every single person. But I'm going to read you that message because it's on my site, anyadvicefortoday.com. But I'll read it to you now so you will have it and you'll understand. And I know that it will give you greater clarity about who you are, and you'll be willing to take that next step and know that you're enough. And here is the message. You are more than good enough. We wanted more of you to accept that statement, and it is also the reason for our live conversation with you tomorrow on your full moon. We will refer to a message we provided on this date many years ago, but you will be better equipped to accept it today due to your evolution. It is also the reason for your restructuring. The evolution of your planet depends on more of you coming to accept your inherent worth and value. Whenever you attempt to do be, create, or manifest anything and intend to cause your further expansion and that of all others, whatever you do will always be good enough. While good enough is entirely subjective, it is an idea you have continually placed upon yourself, which has often caused you difficulty. When you think you have to be good enough, you are operated from some arbitrary idea you have made up in actuality. This pattern has caused you not to attempt to do certain things because you fear not being good enough. When you recognize that you or anyone else will never know beforehand if what you do is good enough, you will realize the concept's absurdity and give yourself the freedom to create and therefore expand. Have fun. That was the message. And the channeling session tomorrow is called Embrace Your Inner Light, because that's what we're all meant to do, because every single person has it. And that is the message of all of my work and everything that I'm doing. And so I hope you understand that you are good enough or more than that, and go on with creating what you meant to do, because we start to understand, and this is all the information that I've put out. Every single human is contributing to our world, and they contribute by how much they become willing to expand, evolve, and ascend. And that's an energetic contribution that you will make. And you make that when you decide that you are good enough. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe, share with others, and come to the channeling session. Check out all of my work, and you will begin to understand how great you are. See you soon.